Tunic is kind of majestic. Right off the bat, something that's obvious as well as commonly said about this game is that it's heavily inspired by Zelda. I avoided reviews of the game for the longest time because I wanted to form my own opinion about it, and still, headlines comparing it to Zelda managed to claw their way onto my radar. Besides that, it garnered general positive reception. Something that made me hesitate towards the game when it was initially being pushed out was hearing that Tunic focused on being puzzle-based. What grabbed me, though, was how pretty it looked. Apologies for making even more comparisons to Zelda, but it's going to continue to happen, especially when this one is at half the price, $30, of its direct competitor, Link's Awakening, which is $60. It struck me that Tunic looked awfully similar to the recent 3D remake of Link's Awakening, complete with the overhead view switching that facilitates targeting enemies. As I type these words, and assumedly as I record them too, I realize that I just want to go home and play more Tunic. This is recording, Brett, and I do. For all intents and purposes, this is a cozy game. One of the biggest draws about it to me is just how gorgeous it is. The way Tunic looks is reminiscent of the illustrations I used to spend hours admiring within children's books when I was younger. Bringing that style back and throwing it into a video game that I can walk around and play in is a dream come true. If visuals were a contest that was between neglect and overkill, Tunic sits happily upon its own stoop of self-satisfaction. There's more to say about the art, because it's really what keeps me going when I play most games. The polygonal style works to the benefit of this quirky indie. As you run around corners and learn the world, everything fits into this neat feeling of being a cross between a toy box and a storybook, and all of that makes the aspects of the game when you interact with supernatural, ethereal forces beyond your current understanding so much more impactful. The feeling of moving past the opening segment, and then later experiencing my first death, threw me for a loop. There's so much style and force contained in these short sequences of gameplay that are enough to tell you that initially, these artists are showing restraint. The way that the more reserved style, with its deep greens and delicious looking water, make me fall in love with the game I'm playing, makes that high fantasy, ethereal bombast so much more impactful when this game gives you a taste of it. I haven't played enough to cover the entire story, but there's compelling ideas put forward. Especially with the fact that you don't have the entirety of your lexicon at your disposal, so as things go, you have to either intuit an understanding of things or work to translate. For gameplay, there's plenty going on here. Tunic does my favorite thing that a game can do, just dropping you in and going, here's the game, go play now. There's also the combat, which is smooth and punchy. Landing hits feels great. Enemies can slip right outside of grasp at sometimes, and the dodging system gives me some pause. I feel like the learning curve when it comes to that is kind of high. Either dodge everything or risk taking a couple of hits to get the reward of landing the ones that matter. That being said, I think dodging is intentionally a little flimsy, because otherwise there wouldn't be a point in looking forward to getting a shield. Furthermore, the feeling of getting a weapon upgrade is phenomenal. The switch from starting off with a wooden stick and then moving to the impact of having a full-on sword left me feeling so surprised. It clued me into something that I didn't realize could be more fine-tuned within games. When you switch weapons, not only does damage output change, but the entire scope of your mobility changes on some level, and it feels like a boost, one that matters. Something Tunic nails that I had trouble enjoying in a similar indie, Death's Door, was difficulty. In that game, deaths felt cheap and frustrating, leaving me feeling like I just wanted to set the game down, which I did despite all of its charm. In Tunic, when I die, it's fair, and I understand what led me there, whether it be improper resource management or overall too risky behavior. The fact that I know where I died and dropped my loot also makes me want to go right back and regain it all immediately. Before I finish blabbering on about Tunic, the music has to be given a shout out. With a score that's co-composed by Janice Kwan and Lifeform that's so serene and peaceful, but also absorbing and invigorating. Tunic's music both makes me want to take a nap and keep on playing. In a way, that's how I feel about the game in its entirety. And that's a great thing, because it means that for a while, whenever I need to relax and have fun at the same time, I'm gonna be picking up Tunic.